Just okay. Well, good morning, everyone. First and foremost, most of us know that the actual birthday of Martin Luther King Jr., which I'm going to ask Regent Young in a few minutes, we'll be speaking to this issue. But before I ask Regent Young to address this very, very special birthday, I want to recognize some students that have come up this morning, and I visited them at their school, the Equity Charter School in the Bronx, and they are doing a special visit. I will be joining them for lunch, and they are doing their tour. They are getting to see a lot of the work that we do on the behalf of all children, and I am grateful that they have come up and have taken part in this this particular event. So thank you for being here, and we want to acknowledge and we hope that other schools will be encouraged to also take the tour and the visit. So thank you for being here. Yes. So, and we do want to recognize one of the teachers and the founder of the organization. So.
So I just want to say thank you for having us. This was really exciting for our school to come up. I'm the founder. This is our 10-year anniversary of our school. And I have to do like a 1-minute elevator pitch, but I'm a truly believe in public education, and what we pride our school on is we educate all kids that come to us. We have rolling admissions through senior year. We just took in 3 seniors this year, some of which were undercredited. We had just had our first graduation rate. We had 85% graduation rate, 65% graduation rate for students with disabilities, and 25% of our school population is student with disabilities. So it's something we're really proud of. And then the last thing I have to do my plug is we believe in being a community school. That's not often what people think of when they hear charter schools. We have a really strong relationship with our co-located middle school, PS 160. The principal's on our host committee for our 10-year celebration. That took 10 years to get to that point, and it's something that I've always really been, being good neighbors, and that we're all in this together. And so to get to that point, we're proud of. And Mr. Alton runs our adult ed program, and so it's something that we were also up here trying to get more figure out how to get more funding for it, but figuring out how to educate our community members and family members. So we just want to make sure you know that independent schools like us, and these are our participation in government students. So they're really excited to be here and really in awe of all of you in this room. So thank you for having us.
Thank you. And on that note, thank you. Regent Young will lead us in a moment of reflection on this very special day. And we also have a video afterwards.
Thank you, Chancellor. Right temporarily defeated is stronger than evil triumphant. The interrelated structure of reality is that I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. The moral arc of the universe bends at the elbow of justice, and the ultimate measure of a person is not where you stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where you stand at times of challenge and controversy. Today would have been the 90th birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as I reflect on it, it's in his words. It's hard to imagine that we had someone of his stature and in only 39 years changed the world, right? And impacted all of us. I still draw inspiration from his words to an audience in Montgomery, and I'm dating myself, that he made to an audience in 1957. And he said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I believe this message is as important today as it was over 60 years ago. And so I would ask that as we think about and approach MLK Day on Monday, that we reflect on the legacy of one of history's greatest change makers. That we ask ourselves, what can we do, each of us, to change our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities, and our world? And finally, I would remind you that in one of his last speeches, when he talked about needing a blueprint for life, he said one of the most important things that you have to have in your blueprint is you have to will toward excellence, right? Will toward excellence. Be the best that you can be at whatever you do. If you can't be a pine on the top of a hill, be a scrub in the valley. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. And if you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best at whatever you are. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Okay, you have part B to introduce the video.
Okay. Our video this afternoon, some of you may know the name Senegal Marbury. Senegal has been part of helping us with our MLK initiative in New York State. He also assisted the Chancellor on several youth development activities in Westchester. But most recently, Senegal was selected as one of 2 outstanding youth in the United States to be a representative on the Obama Foundation. So we are thrilled that someone from New York, I believe from the Bronx, actually represents us on this important endeavor. Recently, Senegal was invited to present at the Aspen Institute. Now, this is a big deal, considering this is a young person, right? And so we thought that it would be most appropriate for you to see his presentation that actually occurred at the Aspen Institute.
Thank you, boss. How's everybody doing today? Are you tired already? How you doing? My name is Senegal Mabry. I'm assistant to the Chancellor of the New York State Education Department and Obama Foundation Advisory Council member. I'm also the panelist here who's under 25, but somehow doesn't have a Twitter. Everybody else has a Twitter. I don't know why. I think you guys need to get on Instagram. My PowerPoint, or my TED Talk, or Spotlight, what Aspen's calling it, is about wishing you well and an easy way for all of you to change educational outcomes for your students across the board. I promise you it will be very simple, revolutionary, and something you probably just didn't think about. This is from Yonkers High School. It's a kind of wealthy district, you know, in New York, and I just asked the students, what do you want most from your teachers? What do you need from your teachers to be successful? Does anybody have a favorite one they want to call out? I'll call out mine. It's a shot. This is from a white kid in a Yonkers pretty wealthy district, is that they're asking for a shot. I think that's indicative of where we are in our country. guidance, patience, understanding, kindness, respect, mentorship. People are asking for a relationship with their teachers and with their education bodies and staff. So what do you call a surgeon who can't recognize a good surgery? Who thinks they know better than medical journals and patients about what they need? And whose patients have issues after they come out of the operating room? Anybody? Anybody get a good answer? It's pretty easy. You call them a quack. What are they doing in the operating room? Why is it that our profession in education doesn't have the same standards? If you're not building a relationship with the people who enter into your classroom every single day, are you really student-focused? Are you really education-minded or equity-focused? If you don't have a relationship with the people that you're working with. Us as old people, and yes, 21 years old, I'm going to say I'm an old person now. If you don't have a relationship with your colleague, if you can't have a quick conversation with them at the water cooler, are you really going to get that project done with them? No. If I don't have a relationship with you, am I really going to let you teach me math? Of course not. You need to build foundational, emotional things with people before you can start and do the education learning. This is from the 36 MLK fellows that we have in New York State. We run the My Brother's Keeper program, and we have 36 young people working as a part of nonprofit organizations, government organizations, and private industries, working to make change in their communities and change outcomes for kids just like them. For us to get to the places where they can say obligation, critical thinking, determination, evidence, and vision, we need to have a conversation with them. We need to start by saying, who are you as a person? How can I help you? What can I learn from you? As much as you can learn from them. And the easiest way for all of you to do that, here's my really quick solution to everybody. Just say hello. I think that's a quick laugh, but so many schools across the country, students will walk into classrooms with a teacher who doesn't say hello, who doesn't know their name, who doesn't know their families, know their structures, know what the obligations or the obstacles in front of them are. So if you just want to have a conversation and say, hello, how are you, who are you, can I get to know you, before you go back and you try and educate them or you introduce policy to them that will not work because they are not a part of it. We need to build an inclusive environment to be successful. So I'm curious here, for all the people who are in education organizations, if you could just raise your hand. If you're a part of an organization that does something with education, please, yep, keep them up. Oh, wow, this is so surprising at the Aspen Education Director. Keep them up, keep them up. Lower them, keep them up if you have a youth advisory board, if you have some sustainable way to solicit feedback from young people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 10 out of all these hands. We need to find a way to continuously get feedback from young people, from the people that we want to work in this community to do the work with if we want to have outcomes really change. Does Amazon build a new product before it talks to its customers? No. Does GMC build a new car before it talks to drivers? Of course not. Why are we making education policy for students without students being a part of the process? So I think my quick solution to all of you is just say, hello, how are you? How can this affect you? How can you do this? How can we make change together? And I promise you, it'll move your numbers. Thank you so much.
From the mouth of the babe.
Okay, thank you. By the way, this young man is leading our New York State conversation with different groups to hear students' voices. And I know he's been engaged with Regent Young on several conversations, and Regent Johnson and Regent Mead, in terms of looking at how do we capture student voices as part of our discussions and as part of our work and policy. So, thank you. Next, we have full board consent items. We have full board consent items, the charter application for January 2019, summary of the December 18 2018 meeting of the Board of Regents. Do I have a motion for approval? A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Consent item by program areas. Do we have now we have our consent items by program area, and we'll start with John DeGotti with higher ed.
Thank you, Chancellor. First item is regulations related to initial certification requirements for individuals with a graduate degree. The next is flexibility for the for the P20 Partnership Principal Prep Pilot Partnership Program. Master Plan Amendment for Nyack College to relocate its main campus. Master Plan Amendment for Mercy College. Application to surrender degree authority from Briarcliff College. Permission to operate University of Connecticut, and conferral of degrees for Downing College.
Thank you. Next we have Joan Ebert with P12 Education.
Thank you, Chancellor. We're asking Regents to permanently adopt regulations to implement the breakfast after the bell program, as well as the prohibition against meal shaming. Both of those amendments will become effective as permanent rule January 30th. Next, we have the grade span waiver for ENL and bilingual classes. We're asking for emergency action and expect to bring it back to the Regents at the March meeting. And then finally, we have the registration of religious and independent high schools. The first one is New Life Christian School in Erie County, and the second is Tilton School in Oneida County.
Thank you, Joan. Next we have Doug Lentovich with Professional Practice.
Thank you, Chancellor. This month we ask the approval of 3 appointments and 3 reappointments to the state boards for the professions, 1 licensing petitions, and 15 requests for the deferral of the MD degree.
Thank you, Doug. Do I have a motion for approval?
I would like to recuse myself from the one item regarding Briarcliff College.
Okay, so noted. Okay. Do I have a motion for approval? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, next we have our committee reports for approval. In front of you, you'll see the committee reports for audits, budget and finance, cultural education, higher ed, P12, professional practice. Do I have a motion? Nope. Yeah, higher ed. Yep. Let me pull higher ed out and ask John DeGotti.
Chancellor, at the committee, during the committee yesterday, there was a motion to amend the regulation that was dated January 9th to remove the provision allowing for a waiver for high school diploma to be a substitute teacher. We have amended that regulation, and the amended version dated January 15th is on your desk.
Thank you, John DeGotti. I'd like a motion on this item.
Motion before discussion, right? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to table the full board's action on the substitute teacher item.
Thank you.
So I think just to clarify, Regent,
So what we're talking about is you'd like to table the action, the revised item that was before us for higher education recommendation yesterday that's been revised and is in front of you to a future discussion. Is that the motion?
Correct.
I second.
Okay.
Okay. Discussion?
Just very quickly, I would say I was of a totally different mind yesterday, but after sleeping on this, I think that's a...
Regent Finn, here. Mike.
You can't hear me? Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
that's the first. I was saying yesterday I was of a totally different mind, but after sleeping on this, I had some different thoughts today, and I think that's a good idea. I think we need to look at this a little longer.
Regent Collins? No, I thought you raised. Any other further discussion? Regent Mead?
Sure. I just want to echo Regent Finn's sentiment. I'm concerned about the data on which we're basing this item, and I think that more time and more data collection would be tremendously helpful. I think that there may be some unintended consequences in other parts of the state where this is currently not an issue. We may unintentionally create issues in areas where it's currently not an issue, and I agree with the motion to defer action on this item.
Okay. I'd like a motion to table the item.
We
have it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I
And you
sec-
have
I
a second.
Second, we have a second. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now I'd like to go back. Do I have a motion of approval of all committee reports?
Yes.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. And with,
We have one more item.
yep, we have, now it's your turn.
There's more section.
Okay. And finally, we have state, we have the State Education Department December 2018 fiscal report from Phyllis Morris.
Thank you,
Phyllis.
Chancellor. The December fiscal report is presented for your acceptance. All accounts remain in structural balance. We are projecting the cultural education account to end the fiscal year with a negative $2.2 million balance. The report reflects current year plans for 2-year federal grant awards. And I recommend that the Board of Regents accept the December 2018 State Education Department fiscal report as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. So I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Who was the second?
The second was,
I moved.
he moved it. Oh, we didn't have a second.
Yeah, I'll give you a second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All in favor again? Any opposed? All right, thank you. With that, we actually, see, I'm not going to hit it hard. We stand adjourned. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.